Good evening to one and all present here. We request all the participants to kindly turn off the audio and video. Thank you for the cooperation. Embrace was started as an open community for mothers by mothers. Vision is to form a supporting community that offers services in knowledge base to parents and children with special needs in an efficient manner. I take immense pleasure in welcoming today's speaker, Mrs. Annapurni ma'am. I extend my warm welcome to all the participants. Now, I would like to introduce the speaker of the day, Mrs. Annapurni ma'am. Ma'am has completed MA in Child Mental Health, Diploma in Counseling Skills, Diploma in Specific Learning Difficulties. Ma'am has also volunteered for 6 years in Sri Ramana Maharishi Academy for Blind, and ma'am has 25 years of experience in special education field attached with Vrindavan Education Trust. Also, 10 years of experience in counseling field. Currently, ma'am is freelancing as consultant in special education fields and counseling. Thank you for joining us today, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's very new to me, like I can't see anyone and I'm just looking at the screen and talking, which is, I feel it's very different feeling for me. Anyway, this is one of the challenge like in my life. Like this is also a life skill that we have to learn. Okay. So coming to the heading life skills for successful parenting. I would say like most of you all wanted a life skill for the children. What do we teach for the children? So I thought about it. Then I decided that we will go with, I will be presenting some skills for you to check whether how you can improve that skill so that the child can role model those skills. So it's a combination of a skill for you and for the child. So that is how I programmed this webinar. So to start with, what are life skills? So every day, as I said, there are demands and challenges in our everyday life. So today, if you take it for me, the challenge was my bandwidth at home, internet bandwidth was not good. So last minute I found that, and then I said, if I am going to hear somebody, I can manage in my house with that bandwidth. But since I'm going to present it, I have to do it properly. So I have to rush. I have to rush from my place to my son's place. So I have to from there. So I took, again, it's a stress, but then I took half an hour earlier before I left so that stress level is. So how I manage the stress also here. So these are the life skills that we have to learn. First, if we learn, then children will, obviously they will see us and then they will learn that. We are role modeling every time, every day, every minute we are role modeling all this to our children. So what is the life skills? Life skills are demands and challenges that what we have every day and how the ability for adaptive and positive behavior that enable each individual to deal effectively with these challenges. That is life skills. Okay, so life skill development is, it's a competence that help people function well in the environment. In whichever environment, they have to be adaptive to that. And they are learned in sequential steps. It's not that first we jump to the last one. So it has to be in sequential step according to the person's age and the developmental stage. And they are acquired by learning. It's not by theory. Every day you have to learn by doing the activities and you will learn. So this is what is called life skill development. And each one would have gone through these things. We have been not taught about all these things. Looking back, when we see that nobody taught us all these life skills, we got all this on our own. Okay, so now when we see there are some challenges with our children, so we have to teach them that. So before teaching that, we have to see whether how much of those life skills we have about it. Okay, so coming to that. Next one. So life skill here, I have what I have done is I have categorized into social skills, coping skills, and thinking skills. So there are many more. We can categorize into many more.
No, we can't see your slide. Somebody else is presenting with us. Witnessing chat.
You can't see.
And Kavita, whoever is Kavita Kandimalla, please stop presenting.
And we can't see the slides. Even the previous one we could not see.
You didn't see my slides?
Ma'am,
No, because you are not presenting. Kavita Malla is presenting.
one second, it will be done. 1 second. Ma'am, just
Yes.
hold on, ma'am. Indu here.
Yes.
We will just connect to that person and we will talk to them.
Yes.
I have seen that, but then too, it's like. Yes, ma'am.
Huh?
Now you can see
Who, me? Others?
No.
others, ma'am. Participants, can you see now?
No.
Okay, fine.
Okay, no, I have not presented. 1 second. I'll go to the.
Participants, please mute your audio and videos. Please.
Can you see my screen?
Is it fine now? Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Not yet.
1 second, 1 second.
Please make it full screen.
visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it visible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
I will present the earlier.
Yes,
This was the earlier slide. This was the earlier slide. This was life skill development. Okay, what is life skills? Am I audible? Am I clear?
Hello. Ma'am,
Hello?
1 second, ma'am. 1 second, 1 second, ma'am. Just. Participant, please give us a minute. We will get back to you, please. Ma'am?
Yeah.
Sorry for the interruption, ma'am. Ma'am, can you please present again?
Yeah. Is that okay, Hindu? Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see the screen. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, we can see the
Participants,
screen.
please pin the screen. If somebody also presents, you won't be able to see anything. Please, everybody pin the screen. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Anam, ma'am, you can continue.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I can.
participants.
No problem. Yeah. So life skills, what I have categorized this into social skills, coping skills, and thinking skills. Actually, we can categorize into many other categories also. But here I thought what is more related to our children. Social skills are self-awareness, empathy, communication skills, and interpersonal skills. And if you add to that, we can say teamwork, how cooperation, all that can be social skills. And coping skills is coping with your emotions, coping with your stress, crisis, conflict, and interpersonal skills. How are you dealing with yourself? Okay. And thinking skills is creative thinking, critical thinking, decision making, problem solving, all these things. Okay. So before even teach all these things, we have to teach our children the regular day-to-day things. Again, it should be according to the age. Teach life skills that match the age of the child and the family priorities. I won't say like for a 5-year-old child, teach this. According to the age, you have to teach these life skills. These are called functional skills. To survive in their later part, they should know all these things. To plan and follow a budget. To perform simple repairs. To perform simple meals. Prepare simple meals. Simple meals, I would say like just making a bread toast or say lemon juice or a salad, ask them to, so that their hand coordination, their hand-eye coordination, motor coordination.
Again,
and
slides are not able to see, ma'am.
somebody is presenting it, I think then.
Yeah.
Listen, please press on that screen. Probably you will get it.
Ma'am, if we just
Ma'am,
pin the slide screen, we can see it, ma'am. There'll be no other disturbance. The slides are visible small. If we just pin that screen, we can see it.
Ma'am, if you go on that slide, you can see one pin audio and this one remove from the meeting. If you just press on that pin, it will be seen, ma'am. Anna, ma'am?
Yeah, I'll continue. Others can see, no? Others can see, right?
Yeah, we can see. Please
Yes,
continue.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. To prepare simple meals and reading a map, reading a catalog, phone book. Nowadays there is no phone book, but the menu in the restaurant, and the bills. They have to start reading all those things. So these are general life skills that they should know. And if you buy an item, from there they have to read the manufacture date, expiry date, and how long they can use this, what is the price of this MRP. So these are all day-to-day things that they should know, and then to sort out the clothes, wash, dry, iron, and fold laundry, and sewing skills, bit of sewing skills, and packing a suitcase when they're going out, or for your mother or father, packing those things. An emergency. In an emergency, what to do? They should know in an emergency, in different emergency, what they should do. On the road, if there's an emergency, what to do. At home, if there is an emergency, what to do. Some phone number, or to call out for help. All these things. And first aid. First aid, basically, a lot of first aid things are there, at least to treat a wound. When immediately they cut or somebody is cut, they're treating a wound, wrapping a gift. All these are functional skills that they should learn. Okay. Now coming to this, there are skills with every individual. Okay, every individual have their. It's not only, I would say, like neurotypically normal children. No, every child will have a skill. So only thing that we have to polish those, drawn out, those skills has to be drawn out and polished. Once there is an awareness, there will be an improvement. So that awareness, first skill, life skill that we start with this will be self-awareness. Self-awareness skills we will start. So what is self-awareness? Self-awareness is conscious knowledge about one's own character. Okay, one's own character, feeling, thoughts, the behavior, what they are doing with that feeling. So these are all consciously you should have the knowledge about your characters, and which will empower to make changes and build the area of strength and identify where to make improvement. That is your weakness, where you have to move from there. So this is self-awareness, to know about yourself. Okay, knowing and accepting your personality, your preferences. Okay, like what I would say for an example, that you can say, I'm not a night person. I can do anything in the morning. Okay, and in your child, if you take, like you can say, my child is a visual learner. My child is a auditory learner. So you should know about that, and then that you have to improve that skill in your child. So preference is, what is a preference, you have to understand. So these are the self-awareness, you having self-awareness on yourself. Okay, so you can be a reserved person, or you can be a self-centered person, or you can be a role model. So these are all different things, that how you are, your personality, understanding that personality. Once a self-awareness is there, then slowly self-acceptance will start. Okay, so sometimes what we say, my son is short, my son is dark, my son is writing with left hand. So these kind of issues we come out with. So why do we have to have these as an issues? So we can say that being comfortable with your own body, accept your own body, then you will feel comfortable with whatever you are. So as a parent, you start doing that, the children will develop that. So it's better make the child understand and make comfortable with whatever their body is, with whatever their style of reading is, whatever their learning style is, make them comfortable with that. And when I come to strength, then I would say I'm a very strong person. I'm a very hard worker. No, I'm very hard worker, I would say. I'm very determined person. I'm very committed person. These are my strengths. When it comes to weakness, I would say I get very stressed when there is a deadline, when I have to present it. No, so these are so you have to know your weakness. So when you know your weakness, you will start working on those weakness. So why do you have to get stressed when there is a deadline? So plan yourself before that. So these are self-awareness that you should have. So what I would say, like, these are for the parents as such that you can. So we will have an activity now. All of you can have a paper and a pen. Can we start the activity? One of you can answer. Can we start the activity? You all have a paper and a pen with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now in that paper, draw a big square. Draw a big square. Okay. And on the left hand side corner top, we are going to do this activity, whatever presented on the screen, self-awareness, recognition of yourself. Okay. So now you're going to write your name there. And if you know the meaning of your name, write the meaning of the name or whatever the significance.
I'm sliding.
Pardon?
Unable to see the slides again.
Is it?
Even the pin is, yeah, the pin is also not big. I don't know.
Don't worry, only this will be shared.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll share the slide later. I will tell you, keep doing it. Okay.
We can see the slide. If you pin it, we can see the slide. I can see the slide.
Okay.
Please pin it.
Yeah. So first left hand side corner, you're going to write your name and the meaning of the name. Okay. And what is the significance of the name and what you would be like to call. See, I am Annapurni. Okay. I would like to be called as Annam. And I know what is the meaning of my name. So just write like that, whatever you think about yourself, your name. Left hand side, top corner. Okay. Now coming to the right hand side, top corner. Your personality, your nature. You can write there, your personality and your nature. Or whatever you think that you are, You're a frank person. You like to do things faster. You're a very confident person, or you don't have confidence. You have very low self-esteem. And your nature, what is your nature like? You get up early in the morning and you do your work, or you're lazy, whatever your personality. Just think about yourself, getting awareness about yourself. Done? Shall we go to the left hand side corner, the bottom? You write about, make that column, make that square into two, strength and weakness. What are your strengths? What are your weakness? Please write it down. Your strength and weakness, at least 2-3 points. If you've done earlier, it's easier. If you're not done earlier, if you're not thought of all these things, it will take some time, but at least now you start analyzing yourself, introspecting yourself. So take your time and do the strength and weakness. Don't write the basic ones, like what I would say, like my strength is I'm tall, I'm good looking person. No, see, these are all the basic ones. Like really introspect what are your real strengths. With that strength, how you can build up. Okay, now the last corner, Like write your desires and dislikes. Like, I mean, what I mean is likes and dislikes. Your desire, for example, what I would say, like, you can say like survival of my child in future. That is my desire. That just now I'm thinking only of that. Okay. Or you can say freedom from fear, freedom from stress. These are your desires, what you want. So just don't like, I like this food, I like this color. So think deeply and write certain things. What are your desires? That is why I didn't write the word likes. I wrote desires. Done?
Yes, ma'am, done.
Okay. So in a general circumstance, when I'm doing a workshop on life skills, I would have collected all those sheets and I would have shuffled and given it to others, and each one will read out and find out who is that. Here in this situation, I really can't do that. Now, at least I'm happy that you have some awareness about yourself. So like this, every day I would say, like, think about yourself and then start writing for your child also. Probably if your child is old enough, you can give this activity to your child also to do, or you can help him out, or you can do without asking him. You can find out what are those things. So different activities that you can do with this. Okay. So the next activity, what you can do is, you can stand in front of a mirror. Okay, you can stand in front of a mirror and then you have to talk to yourself. It's very difficult for most of us. Okay, for me now, because I'm start looking at the screen and talking, I couldn't see you all, so I'm very confidently talking. Okay, so if I have to see you all, I have to see my face, it's going to be very difficult for me. Okay, so stand in front of a mirror and start working on yourself. You say that I am amazing. I'm a very good friend to others. Okay, I'm a very approachable person. I'm a very frank person. Okay, I make a difference in this world. I'm a very confident, very committed, very determined person. That when I commit, I will do it. So talk about yourself, and I love you. Like, so not only you start doing is, once you're comfortable with yourself, start bringing your child there and then start doing it. Both of you together start doing it. This will raise a self-awareness. Self-awareness will start coming with this. So where from the low is self-esteem, you can move forward from there. Okay. So when it comes to your children, I would say raising kids for strong character of self-awareness. Encourage their individuality, whatever their individuality is. Please encourage that. Like if I say he's very good with art, or very good with football, or very good with that. So don't keep saying you haven't studied, you can't go for that. Encourage that also parallelly. That is their individuality. That is what they like. So encourage those individuality and provide a nurturing and emotionally secure environment to them. Okay. So what I would say, what do you mean by this is nurturing and emotionally secure. They should be very comfortable coming and sharing everything with you. So make that kind of secure environment for them. And ask them questions about themselves. When they come from school, how did the day go? Look, today you look very dull. What happened? You can ask, okay? And let it be an open-ended question, okay? Something must be, if you ask what happened, they might not even say. So you can say something might have happened. Would you like to share? No? So you have to ask open-ended questions to them, so that they will openly start talking to you. Okay? And explore their group identity. Exploring the group identity is very important, like which group they are comfortable with. When they are going for a drawing class, they are comfortable. When they are playing in the park, they are comfortable. So you can find out what kind of person the child is. And you can start, that is what earlier I said, build the area of strength and identify the area where to make improvement. So strength and weakness, you have to find out, identify everything, and then start working on these things. And as I said, the last activity, look into the mirror and talk together. Start working on that. This will give a lot of self-confidence to you. And when I did this with the parent course, when we did the course and then we in the workshop when I did. Nobody wanted to see the mirror and talk. Looking at their own eyes was very difficult for them. So then slowly when we started doing this, then by end of that course got over, they said, yes, they could do that right now. No. Okay. So this is a very important activity which will improve the self-awareness. Okay. So coming to next, when you are coming to empathy. What is empathy? Empathy is ability to imagine what is life is like for another person, even if you're not in that familiar situation. It's not a very familiar situation for us, but showing empathy is putting ourselves in that position and then talking to them is called empathy. Okay? So empathy is the ability to put oneself into another's shoe. You might not be familiar with that. See, whatever the other person is going through. Today, somebody is coming to you and then so take your child. Some child has gone to school and you don't know what happened to the child. The child comes with that. And he comes and talks. So you have to get into his shoe, what would have happened there for the child. Understand that what would have happened to the child and go to that level and understand it. Start listening to the child. Don't compare your experience, what happened to it. Okay. Here, when it comes to your child, here empathy is the ability to enter the child's world and see things from her perspective, not in your perspective. Okay, you must have done something. That is why this has happened. That is why teacher scolded you. No, the child doesn't want that kind of words. Okay, the child wants you to understand what he is going through. You need to step outside of your own perspective and then you have to look at the child's perspective and talk to the child. And not comparing your experience anywhere. To have an empathetic response is not recalling my school days also this was like this. I also used to be like that. No, children don't want, yours is a different life. The child's life is different. What he is going through is he is going through. So you have to empathize a child, going into his shoes and understanding what he has gone through. And it is learned, and definitely it is tough. I don't say, I also, my children are grown up, but I know it was very difficult when they were in the growing stage. Listening to them and genuinely feeling for your child is very, very important. When the child comes and says something, immediately what we will do, we'll start giving advice. Oh, you should have done this. Then ma'am wouldn't have said anything. No, at least you should have called me from there. They don't want any advice. Immediately they will shut themselves and then they will run. That too, when they start growing up at 5-6 years, when they're coming and sharing, listen to them. And then genuinely understand their feeling and respond to them. Even if you don't know to respond, it's okay. Genuinely listen to them. And then once they freshen up and then come back, then start talking about it. Don't start giving any advice immediately. Okay? So this is what I said, what you know and what you can teach the children. So these are the things that we as a parent, we should know how to empathize. And when we start doing it, the children will model that. Okay. So now take another sheet. The next sheet you can take. And I would like you all to write a positive note to anyone. Either your mother-in-law. It is difficult, right? For most of us, mother-in-law, a spouse, or your sister-in-law, or a friend. Write one positive note to them. The next one, give a compliment to someone. Someone like whomever you met in the morning, your maid, whomever you met, your friend, somebody who's your neighbor you met in the morning. Just a compliment, write a compliment about them. Yeah, done? Shall we move on? One of you can answer. Shall we move forward?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So we saw self-awareness, we saw empathy. These are all social skills. How we are going to develop the social skills for the child and how are we developing it as a parent and how are we going to model it to our children. Okay. So when it comes to communication skill, communication is of 4 types. It includes verbal, non-verbal, and sometimes the writing, and sometimes it's visual. Visual means what I would say, either it's a video or it's you read it, then you will understand. So in communication includes, and each one will be of different person, how you communicate. Each one will have a different type of skill, communication skill. So verbal, non-verbal, and here again, coming back, like in the empathy, while you're empathizing, I said listen to them. Here, active listening is very, very important. Active listening, before even they say, you don't jump into your advice or you don't jump into your statement. What is it? Very active listening. First of all, listening is very important to express later. So when you start listening, after listening, you pick up the feeling from what the child is saying. Pick up the feeling and express to them. That is what is called empathizing. Okay. So it goes hand in hand. Communication and empathizing skill goes hand in hand. So you have to listen carefully, and then you have to pick up the feeling word, and then you have to express that to the child. And if you don't know to express that, or if you don't even say anything, just nod your head, just pat the child, just hold the child, hug the child. That is enough. The child will understand that you're understanding the child, you're with the child. Okay. So active listening is very important. And next comes the ability to express the feelings. When you start expressing the feeling, the child will understand that, and the child also will start doing that. So every time you are irritated, every time you are angry, or every time, I mean, whenever you are happy, you can express that to your children. This is what you did. So I am angry about it. I'm upset about it. Okay. So just express with that one word. No need to give big lectures on that. Just express your feeling in one sentence. Leave it with that. The child will understand, though that minute it shows that looks like the child has not understood. But the child will understand. And next time the child won't repeat that. So ability to express your feelings and giving feedback. Giving feedback to the child or giving feedback to anybody, like when you communicate, in our sessions, when you, how you're going to give me feedback, me, like about my session, how will you be giving feedback? Okay. It's an art. Giving feedback and taking feedback by itself is an art. So you shouldn't hurt, you shouldn't criticize. You're going to give a feedback, even if it's a negative feedback, how are you going to give the feedback? So you have to learn that giving feedback, that will work wonders with your children also, if you start doing that. Then later, the other skills, presentation skills, public speaking skills, negotiation, assertiveness skills, all that comes later. So now I think most of your children are at a lower level. So we will look at only till that, give feedback, how you are giving feedback, all that. So later comes presentation, public speaking, on the stage fear, all that. So when you do this activity like working in front of a mirror, that will help in public speaking. If you're nervous, first do it in front of a mirror. That will help in public speaking. Or what you can do in the public speaking, if you're nervous, you can go 5-10 minutes earlier, make yourself comfortable in that environment. That will give you more comfort there to speak. These are the skills that you have to start working on, and communication skills. Okay. So communication skills, again, we will do an activity. What you can do, you can tear a paper. If you have a notebook, tear a paper. Okay. Tear a paper. All of you can have a paper. Yes. So I will be giving instructions to you all. You have to close your eyes and do it. Hold the paper in both your hands. Close your eyes. And whatever I say, you follow. Closing your eyes, you follow the instruction. Okay. And no questions asked in between. Okay. Anyway, you can't ask now. You all are quiet. You're not going to ask anything now. So take the paper, fold it into two. Fold it into two. Tear off the right hand side corner. Tear off the right hand side corner. Little bit, not fully. Right hand side corner, tear off the paper. Now again, fold the paper into two. Pair of lower right hand side corner. Lower right hand side corner. Now again, one more fold. Fold it to half, one more fold. Pair of the upper left hand corner. Last fold, last and final fold. Pair of the lower left hand side corner. Okay, done? Okay, now open your eyes. And you can see the paper. One or two of them can show it, like those who are on the screen can show it. Show the, how you have, you can't see properly. Can you show it to the camera? Okay. Okay, can you see there are two, three of them showing the paper. Okay. Is it same? Is it same? It's not same, right? It's not the same. Same instruction by why, but why did it go? Why did it go this way? Different things. Nobody is wrong. Everybody is correct. But why is it different? Same instruction I gave, right? But it is different.
Depending on their perception.
Yes, depending upon the, each one perceive it differently. When you communicate, each one perceive very differently. So communication is very, very important here. Okay. So I'll go back to the slide, sorry. Can you see the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the same instruction is given. Why the outcome is very different? Because individual perception vary and no clear communication, right? And then no feedback to verify whether it's right or wrong, right? So you might be thinking that if you open your eyes and did it, it would have been better. Or if I had let you ask questions, it would have been same. So both were not allowed. So each one perceived differently and each one did it differently. So communication, clear communication is very difficult. It's not so easy. And as well, we can interpret differently. As somebody said, we perceive differently, so we interpret differently and we will be doing differently. This will happen in our daily, day-to-day life. All of us know with our spouse how it's going on, right? So interpretation, how we communicate and how we interpret, or with our children, not only with our spouse, even with our maids, those who come in, or even with our colleagues. So how we interpret, and then we will have clashes, right? Because always we say, right, communication gap. So it is always very important to ask questions and confirm the understanding before even thinking that somebody has done something to me. So she's did that. So before getting angry, you have to clarify that, understand what is the communication. Okay. So here the technique, what you can do with the children is, what you can do is you can use a puppet. Okay. It's available, or you can make your own puppet and it's available in the shops. And start talking like using your fingers, start talking to them. You change your tone and start talking to them. Okay, so the communication, the child will be thinking that somebody is talking, you know, because the child has heard your voice all the time, and whether it's what kind of parenting you're doing, I don't know. So if the child must have seen you in the same style. So now with the puppet, start talking in a different way, different method, different tone. With the puppet. So this activity will work, and ask the child, what is it? How is it? What communication? Did you understand? Can you reply for this? Or the other thing, what you can do is using a video, even if you're seeing a cartoon, okay? Watch the cartoon, 10 minutes, after 10 minutes, put it off and talk about the cartoon. So what happened? What is happening? What is happening with the characters? You know, you can talk to them about that, and then again switch it on. So communication is very important, where comprehension also improve here. You know, parallelly comprehension also will improve. Yeah. Okay, this is about communication. Now when we come to the emotions, you know, coping with emotions. So emotion is a very difficult thing what we are going through. Not only happy, we are sometimes happy, we are angry, sad, suppressed, So recognizing recognizing emotion within us and others. Others' emotions very easy for us to recognize. He's so sad, he was very angry, he shouted at me. But what about you? When we are angry, have you ever realized that we are angry and we are shouting? So recognizing emotion within us, what's happening to us, okay, and others, and being aware of how emotion influence your behavior. What is your reaction to your emotion? Okay, what is your action? How are you behaving with that emotion? Okay, respond appropriately. Else, negative emotion can have negative effect on your health. You all must have realized that when you are angry, your shoulders go frozen, you have back pain, you have headache, right? When you're stressed, also this happens. Okay, so managing emotion is very, very important. Okay, so when it comes to anger, like when we start with anger. When it comes to anger, anger is an emotion, right? And everybody should have the emotion, angry emotion. I don't say you shouldn't get angry. Yes, we are humans, we have to get angry. But how do we respond to it? Aggression is what is very bad. We can't act in an aggressive way. Know the difference between anger and aggression. Okay, anger is an emotion. It is okay to be angry. But how are we reacting to that anger? What is our behavior when we get angry? Some of them hit yourself. Some of them hit the children. Some of them bang on the wall. Some of them, shut the door, bang the door. So all these are aggression. Aggression is acting out inappropriately and it's not okay. Learn to check your aggression and express your anger appropriately. Yes, you have to express your anger. When you express your anger appropriately, here comes the expression, here comes the communication. Here comes up picking up a feeling and then talking to them. So everything is interrelated. Whatever life skills I'm doing are all interrelated. So how do you express it? That's very important. Okay, so express your anger appropriately. Okay, so when we come to anger management, okay, when we say anger management, I'm not given any anger management as such. What I would say, like some of them can also chat in the chat. You can say what you can do for anger management. What has worked for you in the anger management? Okay. So what I would say, listen to music. For older people, listening to music will help. Okay? Or breathing exercise. Yes, definitely breathing calms you down. It is difficult when you're angry. Breathing is very difficult, but when you start practicing, it will help you. Okay? Breathing, recognizing your body, how it is clenching your hands. How difficult when you're breathing. You will understand what is it. And calming down techniques. Calming down techniques is either touching something or smelling something. Even smelling a flower, it gives you a calming down feeling. Okay? And hearing and looking activities. So it's not meditation. When you say meditation is very difficult when you're angry. But meditation is not when you sit and fold your leg and sit and do meditation. It's not only meditation. When you like a flower, okay, sunflower has come in, or rose has come out in your garden. Looking at the rose and admiring a rose is a meditation. So do that. Okay? Looking at something, what you like, looking at the nature, looking at the birds. This also will calm down yourself. So here, look activities. Okay. So with the children, what you can do is using all your whatever material you have at home. Okay. Using soft pillow, blankets, squeezing toys. Now the squeezing balls are available. Okay. And listening to music. And you can make your own items like home. Some of them I have seen that when the child is angry, they put kick box. In the kick box, they have that pillow, right? They hang it, and then the children go in, beat that up. So the thing will come out. Or the other activities are counting from backwards and giving positive self-talk. Positive self-talk is giving affirmation to yourself. Okay, positive self-talk is always saying that it's not that I won't get angry. That is not positive. Yes, it is a statement that you want to be, but you can't say I won't get angry. No, you have to say I will relax. I am relaxed. That is a positive statement. I won't get anger is won't is coming there. So it's not again a positive statement. So you have to change your statement into a positive statement. So that have a positive self-talk to yourself. Okay? And tearing paper, that helps with the children. And if your child is little old enough, you can give a plastic scissors and ask them to cut it in different shapes and into small pieces. And scribbling, using a crayon or using a pencil or scribbling in a notebook. Okay. And for the older people, what I would say, writing it down and tearing it, or if you want, you can burn it, or if you want, you can keep it when you're angry, whatever. So you can do all these things. And asking, doing a lot of multiple choice activities. Suppose a child is very, very angry and the child is banging the door. Okay, every time the child bangs when the child is very angry. So you can give them option. I know you're getting angry, you're going to bang the door, but there are different options. Okay, you can either slam the door when you're angry, or you can yell at me, or you can simply walk away. Or what you can do is you can take a ball and bounce it, or if there is a balloon, you can blow it. Give them an option. And you have to understand the child is getting angry and you have to stop there. Whatever the clash is going between you and the child, stop it and then say, yes, you're going to get angry. Now you will slam the door. So there are different options: slamming the door, yelling, bouncing the ball, walking away from this place. Let the child choose. First time he might be banging again, but next time he will understand, okay, I'm getting angry, so I have to reduce it. So this is giving different options when they are getting angry. Okay. Has anybody put anything on the chat box?
No, ma'am, nothing as of now.
Nothing has come in the chat box. Okay.
Indu, I think they have listed down the things what ma'am asked for.
Yes, ma'am, they have done it.
Okay. Okay, we will do that later. We'll see that later. Or shall we quickly read that? Indu or Anusha, right? Can you read that, Anusha?
Anu. Okay.
Anu?
Yes, ma'am, I'll do it for you.
Yeah, I can see here. Shall I read it? Drinking water.
Yes, ma'am.
Drinking water, move out of the place also helps. Breathe deeply, concentrating on breathing. Take away deep breath. Just think something positive. Yes, my child always feel negative. Somebody has written. So when they're feeling negative, you can start giving them positive talks. Okay. If the child is very aggressive and hurting himself, what need to do? Okay. We'll take up the question later. We can take the questions later.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is about anger management. What the next slide is, this is one of the mother who did this activity. The mother did an activity when we said do activities and come for anger management. She did an activity like make a wheel and then put on screw and then arrow and then create an anger control wheel, which has many cool down options. So these kind of, you have to be creative to do these kind of things and then do it with your children. When you feel the child is getting agitated, ask him to come over and spin the wheel. Whichever option he gets, he needs to do it. So just try all these creative things. Okay. Okay. Now coming to the stress. What is stress? Coping with stress is about recognizing the source of stress in our lives. That itself is very difficult for ourselves. No, I'm not stressed. Always we keep saying, no, I'm not stressed. I'm not stressed. Back of your mind, there is something. So recognizing the source of the stress in our lives and recognizing how this affects us. When there is stress, as I said, headache, you don't feel like getting up. You have back pain, you have pains all over your body and you don't feel like doing anything. So you have to recognize why this is happening. What is the stress building up? And prioritize. Okay, you will be having many stress and prioritize with that. Okay, recognizing how this affects us and acting in ways that help control our levels of stress. Okay, so relaxing. So always we say relaxing will help stress. When you're angry, yes, you can't relax. But when you're stressed, definitely you can do that. It will help. This will help. Definitely it will help. Then we will see what we can do. Managing stress. To manage stress, what all we can do. Meditation. Yes, meditation makes wonderful things to your body. And journaling. Write down every day night, start writing what's happening to you. What are the different emotions you went through? What happiness, what made you happy? Sadness, what made you sad? Okay. Conflict resolution skills. What did you adapt? So you had a conflict, you had a clash with somebody. What did you do? How did you manage that? Okay. Loading a balanced life, present moment awareness. That's very important. Always we say, even in a counseling, we say, be in present and work. No, all the time when two of them are fighting or anything happened to them, we keep going back. This is what my mom did to me in the past. This is what my husband did when I got married and came. So yes, once you finish talking, resolve it and then start being in present. Live in present. Today, what is today? Take that one issue. Don't go back to the old issues and then start fighting for that. Bring today's issue, resolve it. So present moment awareness is very, very important. Today, what's happening to you? Am I happy? Yes. So am I sad? So what is making me sad? So if I want to fight with somebody, yes, what is it? Only take only one point and then do that. It's okay. You can fight, but then again, as I said, it's not an aggression. You have to express yourself appropriately. And physical activities, sports, yoga, cycling, swimming, all that will help managing your stress. And personal productivity skills. Okay. So stress management is very, very important. Very important. Okay. So conflict, of course, I have one small activity on conflict. Just read. Can you all read this? Conflict, I will read for you. Conflict arises because there are need, values, and ideas that are seen to be different and no means to reconcile the dispute. Okay, you don't know what to do. So the conflict is extending. So when I take this activity, so a friend borrows a toy or CD from you or from your child. You take it from your child, he borrows and breaks it. Okay. The friend refuses to replace it or buy a new one and calls you stupid for worrying about it. Okay. So what will be your response? Or what will be your child's response to it? There are different ways children or even us, we respond to this. Okay, we give different responses to this. So there are different ways. What I would say is a soft style. There's a soft style. What you would say, you will be boiling inside yourself that the child, my friend has broken it. Just take off the CD and broken CD and just walk away. You don't even express yourself. Just walk away from there, and come home and tell your mom, or come home and tell somebody, your friend or somebody. Okay, and just stay mad and not play with that child. This is a soft way of soft style. Okay, you're not expressing yourself, you're not bringing out anything from yourself, but you're holding the grudge always. Okay, and the loud style is yell at that child, yell at your friend. Okay, and call him by names, stupid, idiot, all that, and would take one of his CDs, grab one of his CDs and run away. So this is a loud style. So when you say the think and share style, what do you do when you think and share style? Tell the friend how bad you feel. You're feeling how bad I feel. How I'll go and tell my mom that you're broken. And this is my favorite CD that you're broken. Or tell some other friend that he has done. Bring out your feelings. Tell some other friend that this is what has happened. This is what he did. Or tell the same person, go and tell the same person who was broken, you say, I'm feeling very bad about it. Would you buy me one more CD like this? In a polite way. Change your tone. So you have to work on these things. They don't come easily. And say, would you buy one more CD for me like this? Or can you give one of your CDs to me so that I'll be happy? So there are different ways when there is a conflict, how you respond to it. In your day-to-day life, with everyone, with your husband, with your mother-in-law, with your mother, with your maid, you have to see how think and sharing style you have to look at first. It will take time, but just start practicing that. Okay. Okay, now comes the decision making. Decision making will come under thinking skills. Okay, thinking skills are like what I said earlier is creative thinking, critical thinking, decision making, problem solving. I'm not going to take all these skills. I'm just taking the decision making skills. As I said, all these skills are interrelated to each other. Okay, so I'll finish with this decision making. Then I'll take up the questions because it's a very short time. I chose few skills and I'm doing it. So decision making is decision making helps us to deal constructively with the decision about our lives. It is very difficult. Most of the time we are very confused about our decisions, right? We don't know what to do, how we will decide on this. If I decide on this, whether it will be right or not. I want to go see my sister. I have to travel for that. Should I travel now or I shouldn't travel? If I travel now, what will happen? So even that small thing, even the cooking, what do I cook in the morning? So decision making is very difficult, right? So So what with the child, what you can do is guiding kids without making all their decisions for them is an important part for helping them learn to make healthy decisions. Most of us as parents, what we do, we decide everything for them: what to eat, when to sleep, when to play, what to watch on the TV. So guiding them to make certain decisions. Okay, I'll go to my neighbor's house. What time you will come? Ask the child. What time you want to come? Let the child decide the time and let him come. So you say you come in half an hour. You come in 40 minutes. The child will start bargaining. No, I'll come in 1 hour. So you ask the child. Let the child decide. So giving them chances to decide is very important. Guiding kids without making all their decisions for them is an important part of helping them learn to make healthy decisions. When it is safe to do so, allow kids to face some natural consequences. Can be a great way for them to learn from their mistakes. So what I mean by natural consequences, natural consequences, what I would say is taking a negative reinforcement. Always we say give positive reinforcement. Okay. So positive reinforcement is all the time we hug the child. We say, yes, you did good. High five. And giving a smile, saying good, patting them. These are positive reinforcement that we are doing. Sheer natural consequences, taking away what they have. It's not a punishment. Please understand the difference between it. You're not going to ask, you're not beating the child, you're not making the child kneel down, or you're not beating or whatever it is. Okay. So here you're doing a natural consequences. So suppose if I take an example of the child is missing the music class very often. Okay, this whole week the child is missing, or the last 2 weeks, a couple of weeks, the child is missing the music class. So you can say you're missing the music class. So we have decided this weekend we will go for a movie. Now we are cancelling the movie. So this is natural consequence. It's not a punishment. Okay, you say you didn't go, so you are facing this. So this is a natural consequence that you have to undergo. It is very important the way they live, and with their mistake they will learn. So natural consequence is very important. Giving them sometimes when you are okay, when the child is okay, you have to start giving this natural consequences. Okay. So now when we come to the decision process, when faced with an important decision, follow the steps to help you make your best choices. Okay, decision making is very difficult. So immediately jumping into one decision, instead of jumping into one decision, take options. Make 3 options or 2 options, or 2 to 3. 3 is better. 3 options you make. Okay. And what is the real problem there in that? Think through that. And what are the possible outcomes for each of these decisions that you're making? Okay. What will be the positive outcome? And what can be the result of each solution? Okay. When the result of each solution comes, then does the result go against what you believe? So make the decision accordingly. Learn from it. So what I would say is, I will put it in simple words. I will say make 2-3 options for your decision, and then see, okay, I'm deciding on this will be the consequence. I'm deciding the next one, this will be the consequence. Deciding the third one, this will be the consequence. Out of this, which is best? There are 3 options for me, 3 things that I can do. Out of this, which will be best for me now? Which consequence I can face? Okay, you select that. Once you select, don't think that, don't even if it's wrong, it's okay. That is why I say the learn from mistake. Even if it will go well. Suppose if it goes wrong, don't think that you made a mistake. But from mistake only you will learn. So you anyway so suppose if you're taking that I have to change a job. Okay, so I'm going to Mysore. I'm taking up a job, and from Bangalore I'm shifting to Mysore, and I'm all alone. And I thought through this process, I'm thought through this option for 6 months, and I'm taking this option. Okay, once I go there, I'm feeling very lonely. Nobody is there. I can't share anything. Yes, but you went through. You thought through this, and you know what are the consequences about it, and you went through. So immediately within a week, don't think that you made a mistake. Go through that process, even if it's a mistake, that processing time, the 9 months contract you have, stay there. It's okay. By mistake, this time you learn, and then next time you will take a better decision. So this is for the adult. I'm just saying, I mean, just it came to my mind, and I'm saying this one example. But according to a child's thing, you go through that. This class I'm putting, the child doesn't like it. Okay, how do I decide whether to stop from this class or make 2-3 options? Okay, if I stop from this class, I will put him in some other class. If I stop from this class, I will spend more time with this child. So this is how you have to have the options and see the consequences, which will work out for the child. So decision process is very important, and it's a very important life skill for anyone. So reinforcing social skills at home. Okay, reinforcing social skills at home. All this, whatever we did, whatever we went through this 1 hour, I would say sharing, taking turn, and allowing others to talk without interrupting. Self-control, such as appropriate anger management. Observing how others in the environment handle social situations. Model appropriate behavior. You have to model it. Okay, the child is all the time looking at you. Model appropriate behavior. Encourage role playing. Okay, role plays. Okay, suppose the child can be a mother and you can be a child. Role play that way. Then you will understand what the child is going through, and the child will understand what mother is going through. So a lot of role playing can happen. Promote generalization. That is, if the child is behaving only with you, promote that from you to your husband, both of them. Okay, your spouse, whomever it is. Okay, your spouse, and then generalize that behavior with morning. The child is coming and getting up and saying, wishing only you. So make him wish your husband, make him wish your mother-in-law, whomever is there at home. So generalize whatever they learned. It shouldn't be only with one person. It has to apply in all the any environment. That is what is called promote generalization. Okay. So guidelines to parents. Here I really feel that there are a lot of parents here. So parents, what I would say is parents should realize that process of learning a new skill takes all children some time, and can take some children longer than others. Don't worry. Each child is unique. They will take their own time. Some of them learn fast, some of them will take time. It's okay. Give them the time. Each step must be used consistently and repeatedly for the child to be successful. One day I do, tomorrow I don't do. Today I say natural consequence you have to go through. Tomorrow, okay, I have to go out, so little lenient. It doesn't work. You have to be very, very consistent in whatever you're saying. Okay, and repeatedly you have to follow that. 1 week I will do, next week I will leave. No, the child will learn what you're doing. The child will understand what you're doing. They will know how to dodge. Okay, focus on the skill building aspect of learning versus punishment. Learning versus punishment is very important. Learning is different. Every time you give punishment, learning can't happen. So the skill has to build the aspect of learning and versus punishment. They have to understand what is it, and have realistic expectation for their child's behavior. Okay, realistic expectation. Okay, child is really going through this, and child, if I promise this, okay, I have to do this. If I say I will buy a cycle, that is what is realistic expectations. Then when you promise your child, okay, if you behave like this, I will take you for a movie. You have to take him for a movie if he behaves according to your expectation. So you have to take them. Once you say and then you don't keep up, then next time what will happen? They will bounce back. They will start, same behavior will start with them. So realistic expectations, realistic promise that you have to give them. Realistic expectations. This is what my child can do. I can't expect more from my child. Understand your child. That is why I said self-awareness for yourself and then understanding your child. This is my limit. This is a limit for my child. That my child can do only this. So realistic expectation. So the behavior can be better with the realistic. If my child can study only 1 page, okay, let him study only 1 page today. You can't force him to do 2 pages. He can't. That is not his capacity. Understand that first. I'm just giving an example. That's all. And additional guidance in home setting. Disagreement between caregivers. Okay, there are many people at home, and I understand there are. Most of you all have a child with special needs that you want to talk about. You want to teach the life skills, or some of them even so-called neurotypical children. Okay, fine. So, but when there are in-laws and when you're going for work and your husband is also going for work and somebody is taking care, nanny is taking care. So caregiver, all caregiver, it be same line. Okay, disagreement between you doesn't work. The child will learn and child will start manipulating. So disagreement between caregivers doesn't work. You all have to be in the same page. And teaching life skills and disciplining is similar to a card game. That means every time we throw a card, we get a different card, right? So every time there is trial and error method. Every time you draw something will work, something won't work. So you have to keep trying different things. Okay? And overcoming guilt. Don't feel guilty. You're a good mother, you're doing a good job. Okay, you're a good father, you're doing a good job. You're a good grandparent or whomever you're taking care of the child. So you don't feel guilty about what you're doing. If you're doing right, yes, don't feel, yes, child is crying, don't feel guilty. You are disciplining the child. Okay, it's okay. Suppose if you're ignoring, the child is looking for attention and you're ignoring, and the child is crying. So don't feel guilty about it. You are doing something which the child requires. So go with that. And this is from pleading, begging, bargaining, and nagging. Don't ever go for bargaining. You should have the control of the situation, not the child. Okay, child finally said whatever the child wants finally happen in some places, you know. So don't go get into that. For that, it's not that you have to be very firm, you have to beat up or anything. So whatever earlier we spoke, be in those lines, and then don't get into these begging, bargaining, and nagging with your child and all. Okay, please come from the bathroom. No, you have to work on that somehow. All the time child is in the bathroom, how the child is going to come catch the bus on time, you have to work on it. Okay, and never make false inducements. I will buy this and you don't buy. I will take you to grandmom's house and you're not taking. So don't do that. Don't give any false statements. Do not care about what others think. So suppose if it's a joint family and you're disciplining the child, don't care about what others are thinking and make them also come into the same line. See, and you can tell your in-laws also, see, this is what I've learned and this is what I have to do to make him disciplined, make him agree with whatever is happening. Otherwise, it's going out of hand. So I'm doing it. So tell them politely. It's not that you have to be rude with them. They are also part of the family, and tell them you also be in the same line. It will help the child to grow, pick up faster. So you have to bring them to your line of thinking. And do not compare. Do not compare the child, that all of us know that we shouldn't compare. Do not compare with anyone at home, sibling, neighbor, friends, peers, you know, even the classmates. Don't ever compare. Your child is unique. Your child has a lot of capacity, lot of strength, and a lot of weakness. It's okay. You work on your weakness, build up the strength. Don't compare. Okay. So we will end with this. You can read this. Can you read this? Can you see this slide? There's one on faith and one on trust and one on hope. I have put it up. So,
excuse me, ma'am, Indu here. Many are not able to see your slides. It would be great help if you read it for us, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So the 3 stories, the last I'm ending with the 3 stories, how the faith, trust, and hope will come in the children. Okay. Once all villagers decided to pray for rain. On the day of prayer, all people gathered, but only one boy came with an umbrella. So that is a faith. That boy is thinking that yes, it will rain today. Definitely it's going to rain. That is that faith you should have in your child. Okay. The next one is, when you toss a 1-year-old baby in the air, he laughs because he knows his father will catch him. That is a trust the child is having in you. You should have the trust in your child. Yes, my child will pick up. My child will become better. And every night we go to bed, we have no assurance to wake up alive next morning. But still we set alarm for tomorrow. Yes, that is a hope. We are having hope, good hopes. So hope good for your child. Everything will be good. All the best to you all. Okay? So now we'll take up the questions.
Thank you, ma'am. So we have few queries from the parents. The first query is about anger management. How to suppress our anger? Yes, ma'am.
1 second, I'll come back to the screen. I'll come back to the screen.
Yeah.
Yes, Anu. Tell me, Anu. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So the parent is asking, like, how to suppress our anger when children keep on doing same thing after saying so many times. As my daughter keeps long time to write in it, if I beat or scold also, next day she is doing the same thing. I feel helpless when I'm angry.
Come again, read again, Anu. My child writing, what is it? From writing part of it, you read it? Read.
Yeah. As my daughter keeps long time to write and eat, if I beat or scold also, next day she's doing the same thing. She's taking a long time to write or eat.
Okay. How old is the child?
The parent has not mentioned it, ma'am.
Okay.
Can you, that parent can please come on mic and tell your child age who has posted that question?
Yes, ma'am. She's 8 years.
Okay. Okay. So what you can do, you can have a schedule for the child. Okay. You can have a schedule from the school when the child comes. You can have a schedule for the child. One is having schedule. One is having a behavior chart. Timing chart. So you can have one is having a schedule. Is first you have to make a schedule that once a child comes at 4:30 from school. I'm just taking an example. I don't know what time your child comes because it's in the screen. Therefore, I can't do anything here with this media. So I will take an example. Your child is coming from school. So the 8-year-old child may be coming from school around 3:30. Okay, from 3:30 to 8 o'clock, you can have a schedule. What is the child going to like? How they have it in school, timetable they have, right? So you can have a schedule like that at home. 3:33 to suppose the child is coming at 3:30. 3:30 to 4, the child will refresh. You'll walk around all that. No, refreshment is a problem with you, right? Eating is a problem. Okay. So 3:30 to 3:45, the child will come, change his dress, wash up, freshen up, all that. Okay. And you can say 3:45 to 4:15 is eating time. You have to eat. So keep a small clock. You have a alarm clock kind of thing where the number, because 8-year-old child probably might not know to see the time. So the numbers, where the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, no, the exact numbers, not the Roman numbers or just a line. Have a clock and then set it up from here to here. Make an alarm there and then say by the time alarm rings, you have to eat. Okay. You can give them the time, or you can ask the child, how long do you want? You can involve the child in that. How long do you want time to eat with the child? So a child will say half an hour or 30 minutes or whatever time, set it up. By the time alarm rings, the child is eating. Okay. If the child is not eating within that time, you can say, yes, now you're finished, whatever you're eaten. It's okay. Ask the child to go and do the next activity, whatever it is. The next, what you say, next half an hour will be playing time, or next 1 hour is a playing time, or next half an hour is a TV watching. Include everything. It's not that study. Include everything. Okay. And next half an hour when he is writing, sitting for homework, again keep the alarm. And then say by this time, and when the child is doing a writing work, don't take up 1 hour of writing. Okay, when the child is doing up homework for half an hour, 8-year-old child, half an hour, you can split it into 2 half an hours. Okay, 1 half an hour, first 10 minutes, you're going to talk with the child, what happened in the school, all that. Okay, communication. And then the second half an hour, first 10 minutes, and second 10 minutes, you can do some oral reading, something with the child, what happened. And third 10 minutes can be writing, only 10 minutes. Okay, you have to see the task, what task you're giving, and then give a break. Okay, let the child go and play. Next 15 minutes, that also you have to have it in your timetable. Next 15 minutes, playing time. Go bounce a ball, go for cycling, or whatever you want, come back. Next 15 minutes, tell the child that when the big hand come to this number, you have to come back. So next, the child is going to come. And then you're going to again ask the child to read or write or whatever. And say 10 minutes only you're writing. But when you're writing the 10 minutes, give you 100%. After that, you can go and play. So schedule everything along with the child. You don't do, because 8-year-old child will understand what you're doing. So all that. And when you're doing that, as I say, it should be very, very consistent. You do today and tomorrow you won't do, it won't work. Ma? So you have to do every day the similar. So after 1 week, you can change the timetable. But you have to do it. You have to be consistent with it. Since you want to go out, you can't say, okay, I'm going out, so you can do this. When you follow a timetable, both of you are following. Even going for shopping, you can have a time in that. This 1 hour, we both are going for shopping. So include everything. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Okay. And and about the behavior chart, what I said, okay, you have a behavior chart, you're writing today, you're eating on time, only take up only 2 things. Okay, say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, make a chart. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, on the right, that's on the top. On the right hand side, you said eating and writing. So eating, Monday, you finish eating, breakfast, you finish eating on time, start. Okay, if you not finished eating on time, dot. Count. And the end of the week, you say, if you get 5 stars or if you get 10 stars, I will give you this, some reward. That reward should be, again, what you promise, you have to get it. And reward may not be eatable always. Reward may not be a junk food. Okay, you have to list down what all the child likes, cycling child likes, swimming child likes, going out for a movie child likes. List down those things and say, weekend we'll do this. Weekend I'll get you an ice cream. So this many stars the child should get by it. Okay? Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So the second question is how to deal with the narcissistic child. He likes to see activity wheel, he's overthinking and always he feels himself very superior.
Come again? Come again?
How to deal with the narcissistic child.
Okay.
He likes to see activity wheel, he's overthinking and always he feels himself very superior.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yeah.
Indu here. Ma'am, actually, it is.
It's more of
one
behavior
question.
thing that.
Yes, ma'am. It has been 3 questions are there. First one is asked by how to dealing with narcissistic child 1, and another
Okay,
one.
for that, Viji, 1 second. We are labeling the child. No need to label a child. It's our own child. No need to label anything to a child. Okay. Yeah. Second question.
Overthinking.
Overthinking. Okay.
Yes.
That is again,
And,
we are assuming. We are assuming the child is overthinking. No.
And
Okay.
somebody
Third
has
one.
asked, somebody has asked, like, he always feel himself superior, it seems. The child always feels himself superior.
Superior. Okay. So how do they know that this takes longer time? I mean, somewhere connected to this, life skills, but it will take longer time. Like us. How do they think that superior means? What is it exactly? I want to know. How do they gauge that the child is thinking superior?
Okay. They just
No, or
said,
that is.
they have just asked that, ma'am. They have not said anything.
I know, I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
Probably this person can contact me personally. It will
Okay.
take longer time for me to, I have to go back. What are the different things that the child is going through? And then only I can answer this question. Yeah.
Okay.
They can
Ma'am,
contact
and
me.
yeah. Sorry to interrupt, ma'am.
No problem, Ji. Tell me.
Yeah, they want to see that parent wheel and the anger management. This one for parents, ma'am. So they want to see that activity wheel you showed, no, in the
The
one of
slide, they want to see
yes,
the
ma'am.
slide.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
many
Anger
of them
management
asked for
and
it.
anger management and
Activity wheel, activity wheel.
okay. Anyway, you're going to send the PPT.
Yes, ma'am. We are sending
Now I
it.
will show. Now I will show. Let them take a picture if they want to. Okay.
Yes,
I'll
ma'am. Yes.
I'll do that.
Participants,
Can you
as
see?
requested, as requested, ma'am has shown is showing the anger management wheel activity role of wheel. So anyhow, we will be sending the PPT to you. In case you can also take a picture of this. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
The other one which you said, yeah, other one which you said.
Parent wheel, they said, ma'am.
Parent.
Yeah, parent wheel.
This one, guidelines.
Yeah, I think this one, ma'am. Guidelines. I think.
Guidelines.
Yeah.
Yeah, this and this also they can take it.
We will be sending PPTs, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Anu?
Yeah. The next question we can.
Yes, ma'am. The next question is, parents are key points to mainstreaming every CW SMS, but parents are overburdened from very beginning. What will be the role as a professional?
I didn't get it.
Parents are key points to mainstreaming every CW SMS, but parents are overburdened from very beginning. What will be the role as a professional?
Okay, so what I understand is this is from a child who's going to a mainstream school, getting SMS from the teacher, and then they are overburdened. Am I right? Whomever is given this question, can you come to the screen?
Participant who have posted this question, can you please come on mic?
No need to show your video. Probably you can talk. Is it the SMS from the teacher?
They have not sent anything, ma'am. I think they have left the meeting, I believe, also.
Oh,
Can we
okay.
move on to the next one, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah. Because that question is not very clear.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. The next question is how to develop understanding in a child.
How to develop understanding in a child? Yes. Yes. Again, this is what I would say is understanding, how to develop understanding. The child will understand everything. The way how you put it to the child is very important. You know, if you're why, how do you know the child didn't understand? Because the child is not working, or because the child is not getting up, or we don't know why that question came, like understanding. How do you do understanding? But how you present it to the child, what is your voice, what tone you're telling, the child will understand. So whatever I said earlier, empathizing with the child, and giving them the self-awareness, empathizing with the child, first listening to the child, and then answering to the child, and then telling what to do. When both of you all are calm, suppose if you all are angry, both of you all are angry, and you can't shout at each other. Naturally it happens, right? You started shouting and the child will start crying. So then we feel the child is not understanding. So when the child is angry and you're angry, just leave it with that and say, we will take a deep breath, or some of the activity like this, do that activity, and then calm down. But then don't give up on that. Later, when the child and you both are calm, talk to the child about it. The child will understand better. And as I said, tell your feeling. You have to be assertive. Assertiveness, and then assertiveness is telling your feeling to myself, putting yourself first, and then telling your feeling, what you're going through. I'm very upset the way you're doing. If you do like this, it's going to be burden me. I'm physically stressed. So if you can do like this, it will help. So when both of you are calm, tell the child. Understanding will be better. Okay? Yeah.
Yes, sir. The next question is, the child knows everything, example, bathing, eating, etc., but he is refusing to do it in my presence. Please give me tips to overcome it. The child is 11 years old.
Okay. The child is more or less looking for attention. Okay. Then if the child is doing that, everything, and when you're not there, if the child is doing it, so all the time the child is looking for your attention. Okay. For attention seeking, main strategy is you have to ignore the child. Okay. You have to ignoring is, in the sense, when I say ignoring is totally when you say that I'm ignoring your temper tantrum. The child is supposed throwing temper tantrum. I don't go to bath. You have to come. Okay. So what you can say, you have to have your bath on your own. I'm going to finish this. By the time I come, you have to finish having bath. I will come and wipe, and I'll come and change your dress. Okay. So if the child is again still standing there, just ignore the child. I know it is going to be tough when this school timing is coming, bus is going to come. You can't keep doing this. Start doing this on the holidays. When the child is doing this, just ignore the child. Say, I said, once again, you can say that, yes, I told you, you have to do this and come back. Now, until you do that, I'm not going to talk to you. Okay. And just ignore that. Ignore, the child will be standing. Don't even say go, don't give an eye contact. Okay. Don't even smile at the child, or don't stare at the child. Once you've given the thing, say you have to 10 minutes, I'm waiting, 15 minutes I will given you, you have to come back in it. Just ignore. When you start ignoring, that attention seeking thing will reduce. Okay, so then once a child come back and doing it, immediately give them a positive reinforcement. Very good, you did it on your own. See, you can do it. I'm very happy. Okay, the positive reinforcement is very, very important in every time. So at the same time, if the ignoring, one more thing is, every time what we say, what we think about our children, every time we can catch up a lot of bad things what the children are doing. Child is not eating, child is not sleeping on time, child is just watching the TV all the time. But have we ever seen the small good things that child is doing, and then have you ever given the positive reinforcement? We have to catch up small things from the children and start giving them positive reinforcement. Okay, oh wow, you did that. You removed your shoes and put it in the proper place. Small things you start appreciating. When you start appreciating small things, the child will start learning. Better understanding will happen. So positive reinforcement is, one day the child eats well, you have to give a positive stop. Very good. Within 5 minutes, you finished. You finished before me. Okay, give them the positive reinforcement. That will help. Okay? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. My child is 11 years and has speech delay. How to improve his listening skills? When we talk to him, he starts shouting and he does not listen.
Okay, this will be a problem with speech therapy. I mean, child might have to go for an assessment and then they have to tell what, with the life skills, we can't say, I mean, I can't answer for this question. They have to go for a speech therapy. And if it is a behavioral issue, probably you can have a schedule, you can have a behavior chart. As I said earlier, one behavior you take up at a time and start working on that one behavior, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and one behavior only. What is the behavior she said? Shouting, right? Anu?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Shouting, right? Okay, shouting. How many times the child shouts? Okay, you can say today this many times you shouted. So keep putting star and keep putting dots. When he is not shouting, put a star. When he is shouting, put a dot. Okay, and end of the week you say end of the day or end of the week you can do it. End of the day you count and say, oh, you got more stars this today. I'm really glad that you got more stars. So you can have a list of things what he likes, and then say this I will give. Beginning only you can tell them that if you get this many stars, I will give you this, or a token system. Okay, and you can do this, and then end of the day when the child gets more star, give that. Okay, when end of the day the child doesn't get a star or more dots, don't give anything. Please don't say, okay, today you did this and it's okay, tomorrow you have to get more stars, and then don't give. When you say you don't get anything, no reward for more dots, yes, you have to keep up your word. You can't give that reward to the child when he's getting more dots. Only when he gets more stars, you have to give it. So that is what to say consistent, and whatever you promise, you have to be consistent. Okay? Yeah. I think I answered that question.
Please give some strategies to improve a 7-year-old child's attention issues during academics. He is physically present but mentally switching off himself during studies. During playtime and other interests, he is not showing attention deficit.
Anu, can we take up more of life skill and behavior questions? These are all with academics. I can answer, of course I can answer. It's not that I can't answer, but I would like to go with the behavior or with the life skill questions.
Sure, ma'am. So one parent has asked us share.
Okay. One second. Let me answer this question. Now, next time onwards, don't take up questions with academics. Read that question again on academics.
Please give some strategies to improve a 7-year-old child's attention issues during academics. He is physically present but mentally switching off himself during studies. During playtime and other interests, he is not showing attention deficit.
Okay. So what you can do is, again, as I said earlier, have a schedule. Have a schedule for the child, 7-year-old child, from school time to going to bedtime. And then you can have a schedule and follow the schedule. Have a clock, have an alarm clock with the numbers on it. Ask the child to follow it and say 10 minutes only you're studying. Don't say study time is 1 hour. It won't work for a one hour. Attention is very difficult for a child. Okay, and the child is not going to cooperate with you. 10 minutes and then 5 minutes break. Because attention deficit is there, the child is not going to sit for a longer time. So just give 10 minutes and then a break, and then 10 minutes and then a break. The task has to be smaller task for the children. So 10 minutes you say, yes, you do this, and then you can go and play. And then that going play time also again has to be scheduled. 5 minutes you go bounce a ball. 10 minutes you go play and come. After 10 minutes, the child has to come and do the next work. So being firm with that, being consistent with your schedule, and then when the child gives you, giving more of rewards will help. More rewards to the children, but then be consistent with the children. For not doing, don't give any rewards. So one example, what I could say is, when the child is showing temper tantrum, as Soumya ma'am said that day, I also was listening to her. When the child is throwing temper tantrum in the shop, you feel very embarrassed. Okay. At that situation, what do? You want to buy something, whatever he's asking, let him not cry. Everybody's looking at me and you buy that. So what is happening here? Here, you are rewarding his bad behavior. So don't do this. Here, you have to ignore the child. Ignore and say, you did this, Yes, you're feeling embarrassed. I know you're feeling embarrassed. Everybody understand. Yes, everybody's you're embarrassed. So one thing for that is before going to the shop, you can tell them what are you going to do. We are going to the shop and today I'm going to buy only for you. And tomorrow when you go, you can say today we are going to the shop. There is nobody to leave you behind and go, I'm taking you. But the shopping is only for me. You're not going to ask anything. Okay, so you have to tell them what you're going to do, how long you're going to spend time there. So all that you tell them, so temper tantrum will reduce in the thing. Same way here I'm saying don't reward any bad behavior. Reward only the good behaviors. Yes? Yes, Anu, you can go to the next question.
Yes, ma'am. One parent has asked for few tips to instill discipline.
Pardon, come again.
Can you share tips to instill discipline?
All this time I was telling about all that only, right?
Yes.
Whatever I said is all, this how you empathize with the child, how you do anger management, how are you behaving, how are you role modeling? That is how are you going to be firm with the child? That is how you're going to give the discipline to the child. Okay, all the time giving up for whatever the child is doing doesn't give any, you can't make the child disciplined. Okay, at the same time being very, very firm, you can't instill any discipline in the child. So you have to be balanced, your tone, your modeling, how frustrated you get agitated, you can't show everything to the child. So everything should be balanced. This is how you can instill the discipline in the children. And everywhere when the child, according to your expectation, the child behaves, give them a positive stroke, give them a positive reinforcement, hugging, smiling, patting, high five, or buying something what they like. These are all positive reinforcement that you are giving reward to the good behavior, not to the bad behavior. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, you answered the question much earlier. What question I asked. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You're welcome.
A child